Good morning, students. So, today we read about the time and motion. So, this is the chapter 11, and this chapter 11 from 7th class. So, first of all, here, this chapter divided into two parts. So, what? This is time, and second, motion. So, first of all, here we study about motion. So, basically, so there are two terms. So these terms are motion and rest. So first of all, what is motion? So any object which cover distance in a particular time or that change position with respect to time. So we said to that object a motion. So we said a object is said to be in motion when it change position with respect to time and surrounding. So this is motion. And second, what is rest? So rest, what is? When any object does not change its position with respect to time and surrounding. Okay, so here many examples. For example, a moving car. Moving car, a moving bus, a flying bird. So these are example of a motion. Okay. And second, what is the example of a rest? For example, a book kept on a table. Okay, so these are the example of a rest. Second, a tree on a surface of earth. So these are the example of a rest. So simply what? In motion, any object which change position with respect to time and surrounding. So that is known as the motion. So example of a moving car, a flying bird. For example, this is a moving car. So if you note, for example, it stand here at 10 o'clock. After some time, for example, you see at 10:15. So this position here. So this change position with respect to time. So with increasing the time, speed of a bus increase. So speed of a bus increase, they change their position. So that is, they change position with respect to time and surrounding. So environment that like tree and all things are what is surrounding. And what is here rest? So for example, a book kept on a table. So this book kept on a table. If you see after 1 hour, 2 hours, so position of a book does not change. So we say that this is a rest. So sometime motion and rest are relative. So that is known as the relative motions. So what? So in relative motion, in one situation, object at rest, but other situation, object in motion. For example, a moving bus. So in moving bus, peoples are sitting. So peoples are at rest in a bus. When see by the other people, so all people are rest because they are sitting on a seats. But when we see from the outside, so bus is moving, so people also moving. So that is known as the relative motion. And second example of a earth. So you see this is a earth. So earth rotate about its axis. So this is a axis of a rotation. Axis of a rotation or a spinning. So when earth rotate, so what happen? All peoples and the all things also rotate. So in one situation, peoples are at rest, but when you see from the planets, from the moon, so earth is moving, so people also moving. So this is known as the relative motion. So here, how many type of the motion? How many types of motion? So motion can be divided into 4 types. So first is what is linear motion. And second is what is circular motion. And third what is rotational motion. And fourth is what? Periodic motion. So these are 4 types. This is first, and this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. Okay. So here, what are the definition of a these? So first, what is definition of a linear motion? So this is a motion of the object in a straight line. Motion of object in straight line. Okay. For example, any object when move in a straight line, so this is known as a linear motion. And second, what is circular motion? When a object moving in circle. So this is known as a what is circular motion. And what is rotational motion? When object spin or rotate about its axis. So this is known as the rotational motion. And last one, what is periodic motion? So that motion which repeat after fixed interval of time. That motion which repeat after some fixed interval of time. Okay, so this is a different type of a motion. Okay, so first of all, what is how many type of a motion? For linear motion, circular motion, and rotational motion and periodic motion. And what is linear motion? Motion of the object in a straight line. And second, circular motion, when an object moving in a circle. And third, rotational motion, when object spin or rotate about its axis. And periodic motion, that motion which repeat after some fixed interval of time. Mahi, stand up. Stand up. What is the example of a circular motion?
Circular motion like Earth rotates around the sun.
Sit down, you. What is the example of a rotational motion? Earth moving on
No, sir, fan.
fan. Sit down. Sonal, what is the example of a periodic motion? Pendulum. Sit down. So we write here example of this also. So motion of a object in a straight line, like a car moving on a straight road. So this is the example of a linear motion. Okay, and circular motion, when a object moving in a circle. So what are the example? Revolving of Earth around sun. So this is the example of a circular motion. And rotation motion, spinning of Earth about axis. So this is the what is rotational motion. Okay, and last one, periodic motion. So what is the example of a periodic motion? Motion of a simple pendulum. What is motion of a simple pendulum? Motion of, yes, stand up, raise your hand, raise. So motion of simple pendulum. So this is only one example. You give many example. A rail moving in a railway tracks. So that also a motion of a straight line, or that is known as the linear motion. Second, circular motion, revolving of a earth around the sun, revolving of a moon around the earth. Okay, so these are the example of a what is circular motion. And rotational motion, when an object spin or rotate about its axis, that is spinning of a earth. That is example of a fan also moving about its axis. And last one, what is periodic motion? So periodic motion, what is simple pendulum motion of your hand during the walking. So that also a what is periodic motion. And motion of a swing, so that also a motion of a periodic. So in periodic, this motion repeat after some fixed interval of time. So that type of motion known as a to and fro motion. What is to and fro motion and back and forth motion? Okay. So next, so here we already know what is motion and rest after how many type of a motion. And second term here, what is distance? Okay, so what is distance? Vivek, what is distance?
Distance is
Okay, sit down. So what is distance? Total path traveled by an object, or a total path. What is total path? Total path covered by the object. Okay, so this is what is distance. So for example, we take an example of for example, this is school. Okay, and this is your home. Okay, so how much distance cover from school to home? So how much path? What is how much path covered between school and home? So this is known as a distance. So for example, we take example, this is 1 kilometer. Okay. So for example, when you moving at any place like market, so first of all, you going from school to home, then you market. Okay. So how much, for example, this is 2 kilometers. So how much total distance traveled by the object from here to here and here to here? How much? 3 kilometers. What is 3 kilometers? So only what is distance? Total path. What is total path? So you calculate total path. For example, you going at market and once again you come at school. And this distance what is 1 kilometer. So here total path from school to home, home to market and market to school, how much? 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer and 1 kilometer. So how much? 4 kilometers. Okay. So simply what is distance? Total path. What is total path between 2 points? What is, so you say this is total path between 2 points. Okay, so these 2 points known as what is, one point is known as initial point and second point is known as final point. So this point what is, one is initial point and second point known as the final point. Okay, so for example, if we consider this is initial point, home is initial point and final point is school. This is final point. So if we measure the distance between school and home, how much? 1 kilometer. So we consider 2 points, initial and final. If we consider school and market, so for example, school is final point and this is initial point. Okay, so distance always between 2 points. What is between 2 points? So here we take example one more. For example, this is a straight road and here a car, and this point we say this point is A and this point is B. Okay, and how much distance between this? Distance is 5 kilometers. So which point is initial and which point is final? Sonal, which point is initial and which point is final?
final point is A.
How here object stand? So initial point, which point? Where the object start motion. What is? Where the object start motion. So here object start motion. So object going from A to B. We are going from A to B. So A is initial point. Initial point means starting point. What is starting point? And what is final point? This is known as final point, that is ending point. So where the motion stop? So for example, here home is your initial point. You start your journey from home and come where? In school. So school your end point. So that is known as the final point. And home is your initial point. So calculate distance between initial and final. What is 1 kilometer? Calculate here distance between A and B. A is starting point and B is final point. How much? 5 kilometer. So what is it? Total path. So total path between 2 points is known as what is distance. So what is the unit of a distance? Unit means in which you measure. So length you can measure in kilometer, you can measure in meter, you can measure in centimeter, you can measure in foot. So these are the different units. But international system of unit, that is what is the meaning of an international unit? That unit which are adopted by the all country. Which are adopted by the all countries. So what is SI unit? That is SI means international system of units. So what is meter? Okay. So clear that what is distance? Total path covered by the object. Okay. Between initial and final point. Next here. So our chapter name, what is time and motion? So time we study after that. So what is the unit of a time? Rishu. What is the unit of a time? SI unit? Time. Khushi. Second. What is second? So time also measured in hour, in minutes. Sit down. Minute. But SI unit of a time is second. What is second? Okay. So why we read here distance and time? Because next term over speed, and for speed you know about what is distance and time. If you don't know about what is distance and time, then you do not calculate the speed of the object. So time basically also used for the measuring the events. Okay, events, that is repetition of the many phenomena. Okay, like rotation of a earth. So these phenomena are measured by the time. So next topic, what is speed? Okay. So speed basically what is? How much distance you covered in a particular time. Okay. How much distance you covered in a particular time. So you can write definition. Speed is defined as distance covered by an object in unit time. Nitesh, what is the meaning of a unit time? Umar.
Unit time.
Yes, you.
Unit time, sir.
But here unit time, what is 1 second? What is 1 second? Unit means 1 second. Sit down. So we can write also here given time, but we measure how you measure speed of a different students. For example, Nitesh, Vivek, and Kapil. So if you consider this is initial point, this wall is initial point, and that wall is what is final point. So you run from here to here. So here you measure in 1 second. Okay. So this is speed. Speed is defined as distance covered by the object in unit time. So what is the formula of a speed? Distance upon time. What is? Distance upon time. And what is unit of a distance? Meter. What is? Meter. What is unit of a time? Second. So what is the unit of a speed? Meter per second. What is? Meter per second. So this is a SI unit. Okay, so next topic we read in next lecture. Thank you very much. Read chapter, okay.